See the Varna and Jaathi. So this question is about Varna. Varna means Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Chatur Varnyam Maya Shashtyam Gunakarma Vibhagashaha. There are 4 Varnas which are created. Now, Varna means color. The meaning of Varna in Sanskrit is called color. So, color of the soul is called Varna, not the body. So, the 4 colors are classified, 4 Varnas are classified in Bhagavad Gita. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Now, these Varnas have nothing to do with the caste system or Jati system which is there today. Varna is classification of soul, Jiva. Chaturvarnyam Maya Sashti. Guna Karma Vibhagasha. Okay. And what is the criteria is Guna and Karma. Guna and Karma. Guna means aptitude and Karma means action. Aptitude and action together is determination of Varna. So, what is the nature of this Varna? Brahmana means more focused on intellectual. In today's world, it's more of scientists, technologies, all this word focused on intellectual work. In that sense. In earlier days, the prophet Varna, I am speaking about karma, guna and karma. Right? So, guna, which is attitude, and karma can be 2 aspects. Now, this guna and karma sometimes matches, sometimes doesn't match. We can have a politician, but who has no interest in politics. Or we can have a soldier who is afraid of war. So anything can happen, mix-up can happen. That's called Varna Sankara. Varna Sankara is mix-up. So naturally, if guna and karma do match, the performance will peak. The person will perform well. Guna and karma. The guna and karma has to match. So earlier days, they classified 4 categories of beings. Brahmana means intellectual work. That intellectual work at that time is Veda Mantra, Veda chanting. All those things are intellectual work in that sense. They are not productive in terms of they cannot gain anything, they cannot earn anything. More of study of scriptures, more of teaching. So that, and now in the modern world, if you have to say, it will be professionals, scientists, those are intellectual work. Of course, Brahmana has a connotation of related to God and this thing, but more of intellectual focus. Huh? No. There's nothing to do with the Brahmin, the caste system today. I'm speaking, it is more of a guna and karma, aptitude and work. That's called karma, guna and karma. Kshatriya means one who has focused on arms. That's why he said, Brahmano asya mukamasid bahu rajyanikratha uru tadasya advaisha padvyam shudro ajayata. So this is given as a human body as example. Okay. It has nothing to do with the caste system. What is that today? Kshatriya means somebody who is bahubala, who is power. Brahmana is head. That means intellectual. Whatever intellectual at that time, whatever intellectual today, scientists, engineers, at that time, Veda studies and all. Kshatriya means somebody who is focused on the arms, administration, power. Today, equal another, today's politicians, IAS officers, Kshatriya. Okay. Then comes Vaishya, businessman. In that time also Vaishya, today also Vaishya. Vaishya means that's Guru, the thighs. Without thighs, we cannot stand. The thighs gives us support. And Padvyam Shudra Ajayata means workers, worker class. Any workers. Today, all workers who are making a living through working. Right? See, most of the bulk of the population today makes a living through working. Some of them will become businessmen, some of them will rise to politicians, some of them will be intellectual category. So like that, it is a category based on knowledge-based profession called Brahmana. Power-based portion is called Kshatriya. Business-based portion is called Vaishya. And work-based portion is called Shudra. It is nothing to do with the caste system today. Okay. Now, they said Varna has to match, Guna, Karma, Vipakshi. Guna and Karma has to match. Okay. Now, many times Guna and Karma doesn't match. For example, if you take a scientist and make him a businessman, he'll fail in business and he'll fail in science also. Guna and Karma doesn't match. Take a businessman, put him into science position, he'll fail. Guna and Karma has to match. But today's world, anything can happen. Because of position, influence, somebody can get somewhere. So that's called Varna Sankara. Mix up can happen. Okay. So that was the original intent. Guna Karma. Now, what happened over a period of time? It became classified as Jati. Means somebody is born in Brahmin class becomes Brahmana. Somebody born in Kshatriya class becomes Kshatriya. It becomes Jati. So Jati and Varna didn't have any connection. Okay. But there was a relationship earlier. The relationship earlier is a child's early learning will happen at the home. Okay, even before you go to secondary school, right? The child will absorb. I told you, between the age of 1 to 12, a lot of learning happens with the child. It's unconscious learning. Between the age of prenatal stage, 6 months in the mother's womb, to postnatal stage, 2 years, the child's brain is working at the delta level, which means his learning is very fast. 2 years to 9 years or 10 years will be theta, means learning is absorbing capabilities more. From 9 years to 12 years or so, alpha, teenage, 13 years, teenage. After that, it will go into beta. That means learning ability will go reduce and more of application will come. So what they said, if the child is born in certain family, has certain advantage. Okay. So advantage, I'll tell you at that time. At that time, in a so-called Brahmin's family at that time, Brahmana's family, if the child is born, right from the mother's womb, the child will be listening to mantra which goes on in the house. Mantra. So the child very quickly, within 3-4 years or 5 years time, it will pick up a lot of Vedic knowledge. Advantage is there. Birth in a family has an advantage in that sense. If the environment is such that it facilitates Vedic chanting, mantra, the child will pick up easily, because it goes in the early part of learning. Similarly, a person born in the royal family or Kshatriya family, early childhood, he will hear only power, how to kill others, how to get money, how to get power. Right? That's the upbringing. Upbringing is coming from that environment. It's a samskara is that only. So let us take 2 children. One child is born in Brahmin's family, another child is born in the Kshatriya family. I'm saying born. So Brahmin child only hear mantra, no killing, no, no violence. Whereas Kshatriya family, why kill, get power. So the 2 children, even at the age of 8, they are different in that level because of samskara, different samskara. Similarly, a person born in Brahmin Vaishya family, right from the day he'll hear money. Understand? So the child will grow with that samskara. If you know, today you know, there are many billionaires in India. Understand? Almost 40 to 50% of billionaires come from one region and one community. Business family community. So they're small group. They're not a big community. They're in the region, Rajasthan, that type of region, Gujarat region. They're small community, but they produce more billionaires than the total population of the whole country. Why? A child born in the house, every day he has money, how to make more money. Right? So mother, the joke is, the mother comes to feed the child. So the child says, if I eat, how much money will give? That will start. So they start, very early education starts there. In that sense, they don't need an MBA. By birth, that whole thing has gone into their blood. So that way, the aptitude is there, and karma also will facilitate that. And after the age of 10, 11, 12, they start business.
That aptitude comes with
I'll tell you. So aptitude is one nature, and environment is another thing. Environment facilitates that. So now the question comes, a person born in certain family gets an advantage because of this reason. Right? Now, why are you born in that family is the question. Why not elsewhere? So that's what we say, because the soul has a propensity, karma, to bring it to that family. Soul comes with a propensity, karma, which makes him to take a birth in that family. In that sense, the karma propels him to come to a birth in family, and that facilitates his environment, and that facilitates his growth. So now there are mismatches in the universe also. A soul with some propensity may not be born in the right family, but may be born in wrong family. Or a wrong soul, a soul can be born in some family. For example, there is a great saint called Kanakadasa. Kanakadasa in Karnataka. Kanakadasa comes from a shepherd community. Okay. Now, community shepherd. In shepherd community, what they will see, they will not hear Veda mantra or anything at the birth. So the environment is not facilitated. But the soul had a propensity of Brahmana, Atma. So the soul is Atma, environment is not facilitating. Okay. But still, the soul will grow and realize the self, Brahman. He becomes Brahmadnani. For that, answer is given, is that if you take a mango seed and throw it into a dustbin, still it will grow a mango tree. It will not grow as something else. A soul with a propensity of some propensity, born in any family, will be still be able to grow. Okay. So that's why many kshatriyas are there, many warriors are there. They come from various communities. It doesn't matter. Vivekananda comes from not a Brahmin community, but still has a realization. So like that, what happens? Soul, then the family which is born, soul's varna will determine which environment he will get. If the environment facilitates, the soul will get that environment. Now, if the soul is there, the power, the karmic impression is so much, any environment which is born, it will grow. That's another reason. So that way, in earlier days, in Vedic time, what they said, the early life of child, they said it's very important role plays in his aptitude. So give a profession for that child. So that way, Brahmin person child born in Brahmin family will get a Brahmin profession. A Kshatriya child will get a Kshatriya profession. Vaishya will get a Vaishya profession. Shudra will get a Shudra profession. Shudra means worker. Nothing to right, wrong or right. So there was an intention behind that. The intention is that for the survival sake, you don't compete for others. If you are Brahmin, no, you have desire for study Vedas, no. Study Vedas. Don't try to become a politician. A politician, you don't try to become a businessman. Do business politics. A businessman, you do business. That means whatever is nurturing your soul, try to adopt that. That was the intention. So that way, Varnashrama Dharma was there. A environment gives you early stage advantage. So let that environment be continued. So there was also a system there. A Brahmana, for all practical purposes, should not earn any money. He should live on charity. Because learning Vedas will not give you any money. You do it like we are doing today. Scientists will give fund for scientific research. Their research, whether it's productive or not, will produce it. Give it money. Right? Because your intellectual work. Intellectual work may be useful or not useful. So do it. Okay. So they said, Brahmana, Papa, you want to study Vedas, you study Appa. I know you cannot, while studying Veda is not easy. It will take 18 years or 20 years of study and a lot of rigorous work. You will be unproductive for anything else. So we'll give some charity. So a Brahmana should be living in charity. That's the system they brought. A Kshatriya should be living in power. So Kshatriya and Vaishya will give a charity to Brahmana. That was the intention. Because Brahmana cannot do anything. Then came Kshatriya. Kshatriya has to acquire power. Vaishya has to do business. Shudra is a worker. Anybody who is taking a land and doing something is a worker. So like that, a system was there. The system was non-competitive. It's cooperative system, right? See, you are good in business. I am good in what I call as Vedas. I want some money. I don't want to compete. Go and compete with you. Let's cooperate. So I'll give you some Vedic teaching to you. You give me some. It's a cooperation-based system in the initial days, and that was also based on the study of the early life advantage, early life learning, developed the aptitude. So gradually started degenerating. Now this early life system had certain spiritual background in the mind. Spiritual background is everybody should live for others is the background. Understand? You should not live a selfish life. That was the understanding. It is a cooperative society. So Brahmin should study Vedas and he will have to teach the Vedas to others. His teaching becomes his profession. So Brahmin will evolve when he studies Vedas and gives that knowledge to others. And Brahmin will evolve when he focuses on self-realization. And when somebody wants to for self-realization, who will give him money? Or somebody has to give some donate charity. Otherwise, he can't survive. No, like today, monks are there. So many monks are there. They don't do any work. He will give charity. So he'll give donation. Like that, somebody working for self-realization, will give some donation. He'll do so. And self-realization will bring some talk to people, bring peace and all those things. It's just one. He gives something back to the society. So it's a give, donate, and give. That was the society. Now, Brahman will evolve only when he gives back to the society in terms of Vedic teaching and brings back dharma in the society. Teach dharma. And Brahmin will evolve when he gets self-realization. So that self-realization will bring more peace in society. That was the intention. And Kshatriya will evolve when he doesn't work for his selfishness. He works for Kshinanam Trayati, protects the weak. Kshatriya always should fight for protection of the weak. His power should be protection of weak, not for selfish reason. Then Kshatriya will evolve. Evolve means towards moksha. And Vaishya will evolve when he earns the money and a part of the money he gives back to the society. Today you see many of the charitable institutions, many of the hospitals are built by businessmen. Right? Indian Institute of Science was built by Tata. So business, unless you earn money, how can you do charity? So charity is the purpose of do something. You earn money. A part of the money you do give back to society. That's how society will prosper. That's why Vaishya is important. Shudra is somebody who says, I'll work. So these people will, the Shudra for the worker, you give the salary. And you will be prosperous. That was the cooperative based society earlier. Somewhere it started degenerating. The cooperative society became a caste-based society. Caste-based society is, I am born, now the Veda mantra study and all, it doesn't happen in Brahmin family. Even if you are born in Brahmin family, that culture, the environment, the child will not hear Veda mantra or Bhagavad Gita when he is born. So that early life advantage is gone. So whether he has aptitude for Vedas and mantras, we don't know. Then still, because he is born in a certain family, he can call himself as Brahmin. That is a caste-based system. Okay. The intention, earlier intention of early life will give you advantage. That's gone. Early life education is not there because in family that doesn't run. Maybe some family runs, but in political family it runs. Political family, somebody is born in family, early days he'll start understanding politics. In Vaishya family, early days he'll understand Vaishya. That advantage is still there. Shudra family, most of the people are workers like that. So Kshatriya will evolve when he Kshinanam Trayati, when he protects the weak. And Vaishya will evolve when he donates back to the society. Shudra will evolve Shinanam Shujana Dravayati. When he melts the suffering of others and do service, then Shudra. Now Shudra word today has become a caste. It is not about Shadra. So what they said is Janma Jayate Shudra. Everybody by birth is Shudra. Janma Jayate Shudra. How? Everybody Shudra because a child is playing. Now somebody is hurt. Okay, mother is hurt. Child will immediately go and console her. Because compassion and love is natural for the child. Shuchana Dravayati, when you melt the suffering of others, is called Shudra. So that way, everybody should by nature Shudra. It's not a caste. Right? Then by profession and Varna, they will become Brahmana or Kshatriya. That was the nature. Shudratva is common to all. How? Love, service. Now, when there is forgotten, everything becomes selfish. The whole system is in trouble. Does it answer your question?
So I have two more questions.
No. Is that what I have answered so far?
Yes.
Okay.
So when the jiva is born, does it always dominate the conditioning which is given to it, or for example, let us say the child is watching a movie where beef eating is shown, and it has sattvic guna over it. So will that sattvic guna dominate the conditioning?
So this question is, a early life propensity, will it dominate? Okay. So example he is giving is a child is born in a vegetarian family. Then he starts, because of friends' influence, people eat non-vegetarian. Will the child become non-vegetarian? Now, the early life conditioning normally is deep conditioning. Naturally, the conditioning will continue throughout his life. It should. But what happens is today's modern influence are such that they can overrule the early life conditioning. Okay. I had a friend who was he is a pure vegetarian up to the age of 40. Pure vegetarian. 40, pure vegetarian. And he started going to business. He started business. And all business in America, they eat non-veg. He felt that eating non-veg will give him advantage. So he started eating non-veg. So what will happen is that early life conditioning will create a tendency, don't doubt about it. But what is important is early life education. The education part is missing. Why I have to eat vegetarian? Why I should not eat non-vegetarian? That education is missing. So when that education doesn't match with the conditioning, propensity, then what will happen? It can get diluted. Right? Anything has to be with proper dana. With proper dana, the life will be conscious life. Otherwise, unconscious life, it will lose. So people are doing some puja. After some time, why puja? Then they'll question, then they'll drop. Because why do they do puja? You don't know. Because family does puja. Right? Why I have to do? What is the thinking behind that? What is the knowledge behind that? Is not there. So always education should be education plus the propensity we require. I'll give you an example. There's a child, very good child prodigy. He's good in chess. He's a propensity is there. But unless you give him a good coach, unless you give a good environment, he cannot become a grandmaster. So the education has to be supported the environment, and the propensity has to be supported the environment and education in many of the cases. Some of the cases of evolved souls, what will happen? They will, under whatever circumstances, that propensity will remain very evolved because of past life karma. For example, the Kanakadasa I give you. Kanakadasa, he is so evolved, even in whichever community is born, he becomes a Gnani. Amritanandamayi, she is born in a fisherman community. She becomes Gnani. It doesn't matter. Because their inherent inborn evolution is so much. But most of the people, inborn evolution is not so much. The propensity is there, but conditions, environment conditions, and Gnana will not be there.
That means the power of that propensity is lesser, that's why.
Yeah.
There's a miss and not.
The power of propensity is mismatch.
Second question was, does genetics play any role in this?
Yes. Genetics does play a role.
In propensity?
Yeah. So does genetics play any role in the propensity? It does. It does in the sense. So what is genes determine? Genes determine our makeup. What I am today is based on my inherent tendencies, vasanas which come from past life, and the body, physical body, which I have got. The brain, nervous system, which I have got. Right? And brain and nervous system is a product of what we call as evolution. Understand? The evolution means what? For many, many lifetimes, that particular community has developed certain ability. and that is passed as a part of genes. In that sense, genes will help you. Genes are there. Genetic propensity is also a part of your karmic print.
Body and the physical, it's a subtle about.
Huh?
You said the subtle body and the cross, there is already the spinal cord is already there.
Yeah. So the physical body also is an advantage, right? If you look at the most of the sports achievers, okay, come from which country? Africa. Africa. They have propensity for physical sports, right? So their genes and makeup is there. All will come from there. Okay. Businessmen come from one community. So that comes from environment as well as genetic. So genetic is like a hardware, right? So the vasanas are like a software. So they need a proper hardware. Any other question? So anybody has a question on Zoom?
Related to this question, the first criteria is really the karma, right? That will determine which body will get, which genetics will get. The criteria which really precedes everything else.
Yeah, karmic impressions, right? So now what has become Varna Sankara has happened. A person may have a business, Brahmin propensity, and he may try to become a businessman. A businessman try to teach something else, so become scientist. So the mixture has happened, confusion has happened. The confusion is because everybody wants some money, right? So, oh, that person gives more money, I'll try to do that. So the connect between the Varna and karma, guna and karma is cut. That's called Varna Sankara. What Krishna says in our Bhagavad Gita. Any questions, Vaniji? Gayatri, can you unmute?
No, Prabhuji. Very beautifully explained.
No, yeah. Rajita, anybody else? Any questions? Pratibha, Satyavati, just unmute all.
No question, Guruji. Very, very clear. Thank you.
Very clear, Guruji.
Okay.
Hari Om, Guruji.
Hari Om.
Thank you, Guru.
Okay. So we'll close. Okay, Hari Om. Just stop the recording and stop the recording.